Welcome to this short video tutorial on school-wide positive behavioral interventions and supports, elements and principles. This brief webinar will dive into the main elements and principles that are critical components of school-wide PBIS. The components that we're going to cover today are why PBIS, why is it important and beneficial for schools to focus on implementing PBIS. We're going to talk about the 4 integrated elements and also the guiding principles. So why PBIS? Why is it important and why is it beneficial to schools and students? Well, the primary purpose of schools is to provide students with opportunities to achieve in academics, life skills, and social skills. These opportunities for success should translate into positive contributions to the community as a whole. This goal can sometimes be challenging as schools are faced with many various different challenges. Data indicates that disruptive behavior in schools is increasing in both frequency and intensity, and teachers' most common request for support is related to classroom management and student behavior. In the past, schools have relied heavily on aversive or exclusionary consequences, which we now realize are not effective. Those might include suspension and expulsion. At its core, PBIS is a systematic, proactive school discipline approach. The fundamental purpose of implementing PBIS is to create schools that are predictable, consistent, positive, safe, and equitable. School-wide PBIS implementation has been found to be related to a reduction in problem behavior, an increase in academic performance, increased attendance, improved perception of school safety by students and staff, improved school efficiency, and a reduction in staff turnover. Also, schools that implement PBIS with fidelity are less reactive, aversive, dangerous, and exclusionary in their practice. They're more engaging, and also rely on more prevention provided to students. There are more supports available for students whose behavior might require specialized assistance, such as emotional and behavioral support or mental health support. And most importantly, schools that implement PBIS well maximize academic achievement and engagement for all students. There's 4 integrated elements related to PBIS. And the most important one is the outcomes. And so we're looking at a whole-wide school at positive outcomes for all students. And so when we have that in mind, there are 3 things that we really need to be thinking about, and that's using data for decision-making and problem solving, implementing practices that have evidence that we can achieve the outcomes that we want for students. And so these practices could be academic practices, like your high-quality instructional practices, or social emotional behavior practices, practices that support student wellness and mental health and positive behavior, and anything else that you might have a specific practice for to target an outcome. And then we look at systems. So systems is the whole school and how it's functioning and how we're supporting the adults in that environment in order to implement these practices effectively for students. And these measurable outcomes are going to be supported and evaluated by data. Then we have these guiding principles that underlie all PBIS implementation. And that is first that we use a continuum of academic and social emotional behavior supports. So we have what we're providing to all students, which is our core, which is high quality academic instruction and supports for positive social skills and positive behaviors that we want in the environment. And then we also have some supports available for students that might need a little bit more help developing the skills that we're looking for. And then we have even more intensive interventions and supports for a few students who may need a little bit more help overall. And so we have this continuum of being able to provide supports to students at an intensity and a frequency to help them meet the outcomes that we hope they achieve. And then we're using data to make decisions and solve problems. We design the environment in ways that prevent the unwanted behavior. We teach and encourage pro-social skills and behaviors, implement practices with fidelity and accountability, and screen universally and monitor progress continually. So we're screening all students looking for things that may be strengths or might be areas where we want to develop skills for our students. Having shared with you the 4 integrated elements and the guiding principles, I just want to share this reminder that the fundamental purpose of implementing PBIS at schools is to create predictability